Alright, trading recap for the 12th of October. Traded one stock, got away with a third of an R or some stupid nonsense. This was the biggest gapper in terms of volume this morning. Absolutely nothing happening. BBIG, I think it had 1.3 million volume. Yeah, so wanted to take it north, only over 850. Or I don't know why I wrote 850, I meant 550, which is what I did. It had no news, but it had decent volume, obviously not great volume. Kind of looked like it was due for a bounce. I don't really know if there were shorts or not, but I was looking for this thing to be super strong and hopefully get up to here. Obviously didn't happen. What I traded on here is technically not in my trade book, but it was so visible what was happening that I wanted it to hold and try and get back above pre-market high, which is the green line. So always with these, the first retest long, which is this right here, is what I at least thought it to be, always gets smacked down. And so I thought this was, the retest. Now they tried to rip it, and that's how it looked in real time. And then it screwed around VWAP, and everyone could just see on the 1 minute, on the 2 minute, yeah, like it held VWAP, it held nicely, it held R3 looking for R4 again, and I took it looking for this 874 level, big ass up at 875, took a 30% partial, rest stop loss break even, SPY started coming down. I don't know how much that plays into this, but whatever, it's a pretty stupid stock. STC was on my list, has literally 30% RVOL. I don't know how that happens because it had a catalyst. I already wrote that it had ugly pre-market vol, had nothing, maybe a couple 100,000, and that yesterday was a big red day that it had to get north of, so I was ready, didn't want to trade it at all. MGM, this thing I wanted to trade and I couldn't get anything on it. I had written in that it can do 3 times its ATR. This is the ATR, it's done 1, and it's done like 2 and a bit of its ATR. Yeah, there was nothing for me to, and I didn't want to FOMO in. I did not want to FOMO in, but there was no 1 minute 3-bar play. I saw this congestion here, and yeah, you could have argued, but the thing is, this was all-time highs, 46 bucks here. Well, as far as I could see, it was 46, yeah, I bet it is all-time highs. So anyway, usually what I've noticed that happens is when stocks have a catalyst, and they go for, I think they got a scammy little upgrade or something. Dirty little upgrade. What usually happens is they go hammer into the all-time highs, and then they retrace and they screw around VWAP for a whole bunch, and then they run the rest of the day. So it was not about, if this was all-time high, it was not about to take a long and tall that resistance. This thing was just so strong it didn't care. In mode. This thing had earnings. I even wrote right here, no vol, chances are that it traps off the open back to 75, and this is what it did, went right back to 75. Obviously I was looking at this thing long. The way the gap was like it gapped and it opened up here at 78, and I just didn't give it much hope of actually running. These were my backups, SLI and Frey. SLI, it's an Amex. Didn't want to trade anything lower than 830 because it would have been making up all of that gap. Did have a catalyst, and I was liking the strength here, even though it was on no volume. But I figured now that it had a catalyst and it was showing strength, maybe it had the potential to rip. Clearly not, and it traded ugly volume, like nothing. We were talking 20-30,000 shares a minute. Frey. This thing here also had a catalyst, and I wrote right here pre-market most likely a long trap and down back to 1030. Sure enough, I mean, it did 1030 in the first 2 minutes. So it opened above all this resistance here at 1030 and rejected 1070 liquidity, 1060 liquidity, and headed right back down $10. So even though it did have a catalyst, I don't know what it was. Oh yeah, here you go. Partnership. This thing, I put a little note I would have loved to get on this scammy little low float formula. If I could have gotten a low, like a retest to like, 1090-ish here, would have been a nice short, I thought. I don't know these things at all, but it's not like there's any longs anyway. That's all I got today. I think for what there was, I mean, the SPY, until it started dumping, the SPY had like no R vol either. It was like 50 or 60, so the gappers list was heinous. Did the best I could, I guess.